Hi everybody, it's Marcy, and I'm here. I'm going to make a book page masterboard today. I was inspired by Kathleen Mower, whose YouTube channel will be linked below, and I'm making this for the Dear Julie December Dozen and Done Junk Journal Challenge. So what I've done is I've taken just a random book and glued 6 pages together. So I'm hoping I need to make 12 embellishment pieces out of it. So I figure that'll give me 2 per page. And I've just glued them together end to end. So we've got this long sheet of paper. Then I've taken some vintage book, and this is just like a Dollar Tree book. Then I've got lots of pieces of vintage book page. And all I've done is I've gone around and trimmed some of the excess edges so that I have mostly the text. And all I'm going to do is glue those down. And I'll be moving back and forth across the page as I do it. I'm just going to collage these down. And that will help give me my base to start with. But all of my, since they're vintage, the coloring on all of these book pages are different. And some of my pages are rather brittle, so I'm going to need to be careful that way. So I'm just using this to help burnish down my pages without being too tough on them. So let's see what I've got here. I'll just do a couple of these, and then I will pause the video so that you don't have to watch me do the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and lay this one sideways. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do with all of these book page pieces that I've got here. Some are bigger, some are smaller. Okay, so I got all my book pages glued down. So I've got my base done. So now I'm going to use some acrylic gesso and my brayer. And over here you won't be able to see it, but I've got a mat that I'm putting my gesso on. And I'm just going to roll my brayer into the gesso. I don't want it too heavy. Oh, I do want to grab, before I start, a paper towel. All right. And I'm just going to gesso across some of my pages. I'm not trying to do full coverage. Not going in a specific direction. Just trying to add another layer of texture to the book page. And gesso can also act as an adhesive, so it will also help my book pages stay down. Boy, my brayer is squeaky. And where my brayer is leaving glops, I'm trying to go back over that before it has a chance to dry. Let's see, now I'm gonna go back the other way a little bit just to be sure I've got the coverage I want. And I've just got a piece of parchment paper laying underneath my book pages just so I don't make a huge mess on my desk. And the gesso will dry very quickly. A lot of people use heat tools to dry gesso. Typically, when I'm working with acrylics, I don't, but that's because of the way I was taught. Because acrylic apparently does have some plasticky properties in it, and heat can affect it. Oh, that's a little more than I want there. So I'm just going to use my paper towel. This is why I grabbed a paper towel, just to smooth that out a little bit. Got that big glop there. All right. Now I'm just going to use my paper towel. Whoop. Try to knock down any rough gesso edges that I've got. All right. So, while that is drying, that'll only take a couple of minutes to dry. The gesso should be dry enough, and I've got my next two steps pulled out and hopefully ready to go. So here I've got this stencil that I got from Spectrum Art Creations, and I'm going to be using archival ink in coffee. And I've got this big brush that I don't normally use, but since I'm using archival ink and don't want to use one of my distress brushes, I thought I'd give this a try. We'll see if it works or not. Yeah, that'll work. And I'm just going to randomly go through and do a little distressing. And the reason or stenciling, I'm sorry. The reason I'm using the archival ink is because I'm not done yet using wet mediums. So I want the archival ink because it won't run or bleed or any of that. And again, I'm not trying to cover anything, necessarily cover anything. I'm just adding another layer of texture to my book pages. So we've got the book pages, we've got gesso, we've got stenciling, And I still have not decided yet what the theme for my journal is going to be. I've got an idea, but I'm making stuff very neutral at this point because I don't know yet what I'm going to be doing. And this one, after I saw Kathleen's video, this just got me. I wasn't even sure that I was going to be able to do the challenge this month. But then when I saw Kathleen's video, it inspired me, if nothing else, just to play a little bit. And I enjoy doing this kind of stuff where I can just kind of play around with stuff. So, okay. So now we've got some stenciling on there. And that was using the coffee color. Now I'm going to go back. I've got this stamp. I think I got this on Amazon. And it's just a bunch of different text types. So I'm just going to randomly stamp this in some places. And again, I'll be using the archival ink. This time I'm using, potting soil. So it'll be a little darker than the coffee. And I'm not even going to use a block, which I may be sorry for, but I'm just going to do some random stamping of this text. Well, that kind of messed up. There we go. And again, this is just adding another layer of texture. Go different directions. Keep getting my fingerprint on there because I'm touching it too much. Let's see, I'm going to grab a stamp block real quick. That one ought to work. That's better. Should have done that in the first place. Okay. Do a little more. And when I'm doing these masterboards like this, I tend to do exactly what you're seeing me do here, which is go down one way and then come back the opposite direction. Sorry, I got quiet. Didn't mean to, just trying to look at what I've got going. Okay. So now I've got some messy text stamping on there, which is fine. And now remember, if there's anything on your Masterboard that you don't like, just pull your gesso back out and you can cover some of it up. And in fact, not at this point, but at some point before I call this completely done, I will be using the gesso again, which is why I'm not overly concerned about it. Okay, pulled out some more goodies, and one of the things I pulled out is some of my Tim Holtz washi tape. And what I want to do is I want to take some pieces of the washi, and I don't know that it really matters what, since I don't know how I'll be using it or using these pieces yet, but I just want to add, oh, that's upside down, add a little bit of, I'm trying to keep everything neutral, but I want a little bit of decorative. So what I'm going to do is open up my glue stick. And I am going to use my glue stick on the washi because I want it to be permanent, not temporary. So I'm just going to go around, pick different washi tapes, and in different spots, primarily going where I've got book page seams, and just put down some washi. Just adds another, yet one more layer of texture. So let's grab this one. If I can find the end of it. Put that one right there. So this is just going to be a matter of going down my line of book pages and kind of deciding where I want to put the washi tape. Okay, so I got washi tape put down, which you can see, and then I've got some letters and numbers and some receipt, a few graphic-y kind of things that I'm going to glue on top. And these, I printed them, they're digitals from Eclectic Eggplant, and I'll link that Etsy shop below. And I'm just going to go through and glue some of these down, and then I will be ready to finish this up. Just a couple of more steps. You'll notice that I'm burnishing everything I lay down. I did that with the washi tape as well, just to help be sure that my glue grabs. And so I don't have any problems later on. And of course, once I cut these into whatever they're going to be, I will further decorate them. And probably, normally when I have masterboards like this, I typically sew around the edges once I've got them cut. Alright, let's do this little letter. Oh, gotta change out my glue page. All right, so I'm going to keep working on this, and then I will come back one more time, hopefully one more time, and we will finish this. Okay, so I got my other pieces laid down, my numbers and receipts and a few letters here and there. So now I'm going to go back again with a little bit of gesso and just gesso over a few spots as sort of a, well, just another layer in essence. Kind of trying to marry everything together. Just taking a paper towel and smoothing out some of the edges and thinning it in spots. Okay. And this time with my gesso, I'm being a little lighter and just a little more random than I was the first time. Even though the first time was pretty thin and random as well, but this one is especially so. All right, so that's all I'm going to do to that. Now, and I did kind of fib in that I'm going to have to pause the video one more time before we're completely done. Now, what I've got here is a measuring cup, and I made some pretty heavily brewed coffee in it. Just used instant coffee. And I'm actually going to pour it onto my papers. Okay, now I'm going to give that just a moment to soak in, and then I'm going to go back with my paper towel and start dabbing it up. Not dabbing it completely, but thinning it out. Might need more than one round of paper towels. gonna need more than one round of paper towels for this. I might have gotten a little carried away with the coffee. But I do love my coffee dyed stuff, so I'm not complaining. But this is just going to leave, because of the way I did it, it's not completely coffee dyeing it. And where the gesso is, it's actually going to repel it some. And I'm not rubbing because these are digital printouts, and I don't want any of the ink to smear. All right. So, leave that, and I'm going to allow it to soak for another minute, and then this time I actually am going to use my heat tool to help this dry. All right. So I've got my messy, grungy Masterboard done, and I've got it dried now. So the next thing I'm going to do is, and I think when I measured it, I believe it's just over 30 inches long. So now, oh, excuse me, sorry for the clanking. I'm going to flip it over. And I'm not even going to look at what I'm cutting. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this very edge so it will be straight. All right. Then I'm going to flip it around. And we're going to work from this end. So, how tall are my pages? They are, it looks like, I can't tell from that because I don't know how to read it. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. I'm going to start with cutting it at 5 inches. Basically, pocket size. So 5 inches, and then I will cut at 3 1/4 inches, and cut this one at 3 1/4. And then that could, let's see, how wide is that? That is 1 inch and about 3/4. So that could be a belly band. I'll save that for now. So there's 2 pockets. And I'm going to do two more pockets, and I only want them to be 5 inches wide because that is about as wide as I would want them for any journal, and even at that, they might need to be trimmed a bit. And going 3 1/4 tall. Just because I figure that gives me a pocket that is a good size, but not too deep. Okay, so there again, another piece that I can use for something. So there's those 2 pockets. I'm actually liking the way those are looking as bases. Okay, so let's do some tags. Where did my ruler go? There it is. these are just over 8 inches. I'm probably not going to want to tag taller than 7 inches. So let's do this. If I make a couple of large tags, okay, let's go 7 inches. That'll give me a 3.5 inch tag. Then I'm going to cut it down to 7. And again, that gives me something I might be able to use as part of a belly band, which is why I wanted to cut it, because that could be a vertical belly band. So we'll see what I do with that. Oh, nope, don't want to look at them before I cut them. So my tags will be 3.5. These two tags will be 3.5 by 7. So that will make 2 tag bases. So that's 4, 6 items. Oops. I can tell right now that is not cut evenly. The tags seem to be okay. So how did I straighten that up a little bit? Either that or it could be the book page that's, yeah, it might be the book page that's off a bit. Okay, so now what I want is, I want a couple of four by 6 journaling cards, so they'll be large cards. So again, that one will actually make a good belly band. So I'll put that there. We'll call that a belly band. And then four inches wide. So there's a couple of large journaling cards. And these that I cut into pockets can be either pockets or journaling cards, either one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So five inches wide. So I guess these are going to be pocket / journaling cards as well. So there's 1. 2. So 2 more. Okay. And then, and what does that give me? I've lost count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 3¼ by 5 pocket / journal cards, 2 4 by 6 journal cards, So 6, 7, 8, 2 tags, 9, 10, 11, and then I've got, that will definitely make a good vertical belly band, and then these I will figure something out because I need one more thing. But I have all these pieces to play with, so I will figure out something. Oh, those might make good tabs. So I could do something like that. Just have them be ready-made tabs. That would work. So, there I've got my bases. So now I will need to decorate one of them to go into my journal. And that is finally the end of this video. But I like the way these have a grungy look. They're very neutral, so I can use them however I want and in whatever I want. And of course, say if this is a journaling card or a pocket either, well, definitely for a journaling card, I'll back it either with cardstock or coffee dyed paper to thicken it up and to cover up the book page and back. And when I go to actually decorate it, I'll probably sew around it, so on and so forth. But with just that, we used the book page, which was required. We used gesso, stenciling, stamping, used some digitals, and used coffee. So three things were required to be done with it, and I ended up using 5 things with it. So there you go. Until next time, I wish you all a wonderfully happy, crafty day, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.